It's hard to have deep thoughts about life when you're hungry, literally. And it would be hard to study philosophy if in the next room you had two parents that were drunk and fighting. Literally. You don't think about what God is like when you're running from someone with a knife or a gun. My point here is, there is a way to dive into yourself, to look at yourself, to do what people call shadow work, without actually doing the work. And when you are ego identified, and you really, really think you are your thoughts, which is totally normal, no judgment here. This is most people. I was one of them. I was doing shadow work, I was doing counseling, but somebody was chasing me with a gun. And it was myself. It was my thoughts. My ego was stepping in and ruining the process. Everything I found, it would add guilt or shame, and then if I healed it, it would feel pride, and then it would want the next thing, and there was nothing ever was enough. And there was always a mixture of fear and dissatisfaction. It was just cruel. The process was cruel and unusual. And then you have a shift, which is what some people call awakening, and you don't see the need for shadow work or to do anything. You get lazy, you feel absolute peace, nothing matters to you anymore, and suddenly it just feels like, well, I'm in heaven, screw it, there's nothing to do. But then if you're honest with yourself, something else happens. It happened for me, I'm currently in it. That peace wears away. It doesn't wear away, it's still there, but stuff comes back up. So things come back up to look at. Maybe you still get triggered by something. Maybe you have deeper emotional wounds that you could not even fathom looking at when you were ego identified, because it would have been too much. But now you're not, so it's not too much. So there are deeper layers you can reach while you're in peace. So now you can study with nobody fighting in the next room. Now nobody's chasing you with a gun. Now you are actually in a place where you're full, you're happy, you're content, you're surrounded by love, and then something hard happens. But guess what? It's not hard anymore. This is the craziest thing. So a lot of people have this awakening, this shift in perception, and including me, and think, this is it, I've arrived. And there's videos about it. Like, I don't feel like doing anything now after awakening, and I have no motivation, and it's just part of the process. I started sharing way too soon, and on purpose. I knew I was immature, and still am, and I just wanted to chart this whole process, because, maybe I want to be laughed at. I don't know. Or to just share for, if anybody's followed me for a while, they'll see the whole process. My first video, I was in a breakdown. I was struggling, and I'm not now. And now I'm dealing with deeper, more intense things, but I'm at a place of peace, so I am able to deal with them. Now, a lot of people say there's nothing to do, there's nowhere to go, they're extreme non-dualists, and I understand non-duality, and I not understand it, I know it, I feel it, I'm in it. But I do not subscribe to that. There's no one here, there's nothing to do. And for a long time, I didn't want to admit it or say it out loud, but here it is. There are stages to awakening. There are shifts. There's more than one. Now, I don't know if this is how it happened for Buddha, who just seemed to have a perfect full enlightenment all at once. But in my experience, that is not what's happening. So I'm sharing what's happening for me, not what's happening for someone else. I'm being truthful about this experience. Now, maybe in some of these extreme non-dual scenarios, those people truly are experiencing what they're saying. But that's not how it's happening for me. So maybe I shouldn't speak against that. I'll just share mine, which is different. So I had a really big shift, and then more stuff came up. I had to grieve some pretty hard stuff. I just had to cut out another family member just for being extremely violent and toxic. But it's just not a struggle anymore. It's okay. Like, it's sad. I feel the emotion. And the emotions come and the emotions go. They're felt with the intensity of sensation, but not thoughts. There is no guilt or shame. There is no story. There is just pure raw emotion. It's fantastic. Even when it hurts, it's great. Now, that may sound weird because people run from emotions, but when you shift, they become okay. And you can go deeper and deeper and deeper. And then you actually do end up having more shifts into deeper awareness. These are just words. I'm just trying to explain something that's wordless. But I didn't even want to believe this for a while because I just thought, like, no, this is it. I'm there. I'm in peace. I don't want to try to go backwards, but this isn't going backwards. It is with a newfound level of love and safety, I'm able to go deeper into the darkest parts of myself that most people just don't look at. And look, if we're being honest, in all of us, the worst evils you can imagine in the world, we are all capable of those. And if we're not honest with ourselves about it, then we will not change or experience higher or deeper levels of what this is, whatever this is, wherever we are right now. So at first there's so much fear, you just can't go that deep. And by the grace of the divine, there's just these shifts which allow you to just see and perceive the world in such a different space. There's love of others, there's love of self, there's just love because there is no others or self. And then in that, some of the self and personal stuff come up, and you're just looking at it in a way that's just so different and so nice that you're able to look, process, feel whatever needs to happen, and let go of, and question even more. Like, I started to question, like, is this it? Have I arrived? Or is this my ego trying to hijack a spiritual experience? And in all honesty, I think it was my ego trying to hijack a spiritual experience. Now, everything I've shared on here is honest, but I'm new. I'm immature. In awakening, not in life. I mean, I'm middle-aged. But there is such a beauty and depth that comes from just being completely honest with yourself about every stage that you're in. And I've gone through a couple now. One really major shift and then a couple smaller ones. And who knows how far it goes, how many there are. And I know people get on here and tell me I'm wrong and all this stuff. And it just, whatever, it doesn't bother me. My experience is my experience. I'm sharing what's happening. It's like someone telling me I'm not brown. I am. I mean, what am I supposed to say to that? How can you argue truth? I just don't get it. Oh, man. There's a lot of gaslighting in the spiritual world. Just in humans in general. We gaslight ourselves. We gaslight others. We tell people they aren't experiencing certain things or they shouldn't feel a certain way. Where's that come from? Our own fear. We're scared to feel our own stuff, so we gaslight ourselves. Acceptance, radical honesty, and questioning and getting curious about everything. Not in an ego-centered way to know, but questioning everything as if it is an illusion. Because if it's genuine and it's coming from a place of really wanting to know truth or to understand why we're here and what we're doing, it will be shown to you. Now, every moment that you feel anything, I call these little contact points of eternity. In that moment, that's a contact point because you can start looking at it. if you're not judging or condemning or feeling bad that you acted out, then it is a divine appointment to look at. Where does that come from? Why did that bother me? Just question the crap out of your experience until you find the truth of it. And then when you finally get to the bottom of any experience, be it positive, be it negative, then you can make a choice. But not until you get to the bottom of it and fully feel can you make a choice to then let it go or transcend it. There is no bypassing. We can say, I can get on here and say I'm peaceful all the time, nothing bothers me, but that wouldn't be true. I actually do feel peace now, even when I am bothered, which is very interesting and new. But it kind of gives me the allowance to look into it if I want to. And if I don't want to, I don't have to. But it seems to me that there are ups and downs, and there are multiple stages or levels to all of this, which I never wanted to admit before, but that's where I'm at, and that's what I'm saying so far. If you disagree, your experience is different, do know that that's totally okay. Being able to hold others' opinions or paradoxes or seemingly two conflicting truths at the same time is actually not a sign of hypocrisy. It's a sign of maturity and spiritual growth, honestly. Anyway, I'm not sure if any of that made sense. It's really nice out here. I'm going to enjoy the weather and sign off for today. Thanks for watching.